Smiling man. You're walking home late at night and the street feels empty. Then you see him, a man standing under the streetlight, smiling wider than it feels natural. He doesn't wave, nor does he move any closer. He just watches. People who encounter the smiling man describe him in the same details. Long limbs, jerky movements, and a grin that never breaks. He doesn't chase, nor does he speak. The fear comes from what he doesn't do. Witnesses report that once you acknowledge him, he mirrors your movements. You step forward, he also steps forward. You stop, and then he also stops. The moment you look away, he's gone. There's no proof, no recordings, only consistency. The elevator game. You enter an elevator alone. You press the buttons in a specific order. 4th floor, 2nd floor, 6th floor, then back to the 1st, then to the 10th. The doors open and close at each floor. On the 5th floor, a woman may enter. You must not look at her, nor speak to her. If you do, the game is over. Those who claim to finish the sequence say the elevator opens to a place that looks familiar, but is wrong. Lights don't work and windows show nothing. The city feels completely empty. The rule is simple. Don't leave the elevator unless you want to stay. And once you return, things may still feel off, like something followed you back. The Black Volga. In the middle of the night, a black luxury car quietly pulls up. No license plate or headlights. Children disappear and adults vanish. Stories spread across Eastern Europe describe the same vehicle. Always black, always silent. Some versions say that it was driven by the secret police. Others say doctors harvesting organs, and some even claim not human at all. What made the legend powerful was not what people claimed to see. It was that no one could truly describe what they saw. No witnesses could ever describe a driver's face, only a black car, and the feeling that once it stopped near you, it was already too late. The Red Room Curse. You're browsing online when a red window appears. It asks a question. Do you like? The sentence never finishes. Names begin to appear on the screen one by one. The final name is yours. The legend says that the window cannot be closed, and once it appears, the outcome is already decided. Your fate is already confirmed and there's no way to outrun it, which is why this story spread so quickly in the early days of the internet. The Midnight Man. You write your name on a paper, you light a candle, and you knock a door at midnight. Then you turn off all of your lights. For the next hour, you must keep the candle lit while moving throughout your house. If it goes out, you must relight it immediately. If you fail, the Midnight Man finds you. No one agrees on what this man actually looks like, only on what happens if the darkness lasts too long. A phone call from the dead. It starts with the phone vibrating. A familiar name appears on your screen, one you recognize instantly and have no reason not to answer. So you answer the phone. The voice is exactly right. The same tone, the same pacing, everything seems normal. There's no distortion, no delay, no static, nothing to throw you off. The conversation is brief and ordinary, almost forgettable. You talk about the same stuff you talk about on a routine basis. The kind of exchange you barely register once it ends. Nothing about this feels out of the ordinary. Then the call ends. Hours later, sometimes even the next day, you learn the person you talked to died earlier the same day. An accident or a sudden medical event with a confirmed time of death that does not line up with the call you received earlier. You check your phones again. The call log is still there. The timestamp hasn't changed at all. Phone records confirm that the connection was real and the call routed normally. Another reason this story is extremely unsettling is within the call, there was no hidden message in the conversation, no confusion in the voice, or even urgency or awareness. There was no explanation or goodbye, just a normal conversation that took place like all of your conversations before. The staircase in the woods. Search and rescue workers tell the same story. Deep in the forest, far from any trails or campsites, they sometimes find staircases that appear clean, intact, and completely out of place. There are no nearby ruins, no buildings, and no evidence that a structure ever existed there at all. Just a staircase standing alone amongst trees. The stairs don't look ancient or decayed. They resemble ordinary residential staircases, the kind that are meant for daily use, and often show little signs of weathering even though the surrounding forest is thick with moss, rot, and age. There's no official explanation. Some suggest that they're remnants of a forgotten structure overtaken by the forest. Others argue that they're hallucinations caused by exhaustion or stress. But that explanation breaks down when multiple people report the same staircase in the same location. What matters most is the rule. Search and rescue workers are trained to ignore the stairs. Not because they're proven to be dangerous, but because people who approach them sometimes disappear. In rare cases, someone returns, but those individuals refuse to explain what they saw and often leave the job entirely. When the teams later return to search the area, the stairs are always gone, leaving behind no trace and no disturbed ground, as if they were never meant to be found more than once. The shadow people. They appear at the edge of vision, usually as tall, motionless figures that seem to be watching without moving closer. People often describe sensing them before fully seeing them, as if their presence is registered first and confirmed only afterwards. When someone looks directly at them, the figures vanish instantly, leaving no shadow, no movement, and no clear moment of transition. Their disappearance feels less like something leaving and more like something choosing not to be seen anymore. These figures are most commonly reported during the episodes of sleep paralysis, when the body is awake but unable to move. However, not all sightings happen in that state. Some people report seeing them while being fully awake, in familiar places, and under normal conditions. They don't speak, chase, or attempt to interact in any obvious way. Instead, they remain passive and observant, which is what unsettles people most. There's no clear threat to respond to and no actions to interpret. What lingers after the encounter is not fear or harm, but deep discomfort. The experience feels less like a hallucination created by the mind and more like a brief moment of being noticed by something that had no intention of making itself known. The hands resist him. The painting shows a young child standing beside a doll, positioned in front of what appears to be a glass door. Behind the glass, multiple hands press outwards, frozen mid-reach, as if someone is trying to get through from the other side. Owners of the paintings have claimed that the figures change when no one is watching. Some say the positions of the hands shift, while others insist that the expressions of the child or the dolls appear different each time they look at the painting. Children who have lived near the painting report hearing it argue at night, describing voices coming from the room even when no one else is there. Adults describe a different reaction, including insomnia, persistent unease, and a sense of being watched long after leaving the room. Despite the story surrounding it, the painting itself never moves in any way. It doesn't chase, threaten, or actively interact with anyone who looks at it. It simply remains where it is, unchanged and silent. What makes a painting unsettling is not what it does, but what it suggests. The feeling that something bad isn't going to happen, but already has. How many of these have you heard before, and which ones do you never want to experience? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, there's a lot more to explore. Thanks a lot for watching, and remember to subscribe.